Chip, I'm sure, has many children all over the neighborhood. He was one of the more dominant male squirrels in the area, so he probably had his pick of the ladies. Chip was a typical boy. He liked to wrestle and jump on his sister, and he was very independent. And Chloe was very docile and clingy with us. I named the rescue after Chip and Chloe. They were the first baby squirrels that I rescued and rehabilitated. They were brother and sister, and they were found as babies when they were about 4.5 weeks old, and they were brought to me. A friend of ours found baby squirrels just crawling around in the grass. He kept putting them back in the tree, and they just kept crawling down, and he thought they looked too young to be away from their mom. So he called me. I drove over to the area and went looking for them, and found these 2 baby squirrels, and decided that I would take them home and raise them to be rehabilitated to return to the wild. Chip had one eye open. Chloe still had her eyes closed, and we were able to feed them with a syringe. We fed them formula, specialized formula. Gradually, they got bigger and bigger. I had never raised a squirrel that young before, so it was our first experience. After we released them, they stayed nearby. Sometimes they would disappear for a few days, but then they would come back. And so they really learned that our house was a place where they could come to get food and for safeties. Chloe would visit more often, and we actually hung a squirrel house in one of our trees out back. And so Chloe decided to make a nest there, and she eventually ended up having her first litter of babies there in the tree. And so once her babies were old enough to come down, she brought them to the patio where we feed all of our squirrels. And so we were able to meet her babies and watch them grow up. And then eventually her girl baby decided to nest in our tree and raise her own babies. So we even got to meet Chloe's grandchildren. Chip was a lot more independent, being a boy. And so Chip, I'm sure, has many children all over the neighborhood. He was one of the more dominant male squirrels in the area, so he probably had his pick of the ladies. I did see a few babies that look a lot like Chip, so I'm pretty sure he has kids and grandkids out there. Chip was a typical boy. He liked to wrestle and jump on his sister, and he was very independent. And Chloe was very docile and clingy with us. She was a lot more easy to handle. And so just seeing their personalities and the fact that they can learn to know us and recognize us. They would recognize my voice in the neighborhood. When I would call, they would come running. It's just a very special relationship to be able to have with a wild animal.